you see the name of Husamuddin. In all other books, 5 books, he mentions the name of Husamuddin actually, somehow or other. He actually creates pretexts and excuses in order to mention Husamuddin. So his main address is to him and through him to others, but never artificially. Never artificially. He mentions God, his name, the name of the Prophet, and no one. And this applies to the first book as well. So the first poem, the first verse of the first book reads as follows: listen to the reed, how it tells a tale, complaining of separations. Now, let me read you in Persian, of course. I mean, our Persian-speaking people are definitely familiar with this. I don't think that you would ever encounter any Iranian, any Persian-speaking person who doesn't know this particular verse, which I am going to read you, which is, it is even more popular and more well-known, or better known, I would say, than some of the verses of Quran among the Persian-speaking people. بشنو از نی چون حکایت میکند از جدایی ها شکایت میکند. But I am telling you that this is not the right, I mean, the correct wordings of Rumi. You know, Nicholson, who was editing Masnavi, he based his editions on some manuscripts that he got from, especially from Turkey. And this was the first verse of Masnavi in most manuscripts that he got. But when he was doing, during his work, when he was doing the, I mean, was editing the third book, he got a new manuscript, which was the most authentic of all. And in that one, actually, the reading of this verse was different. So he mentioned it in some of his end notes. But now his book actually is and this copy is the old one. Actually, it is always being printed like this. But the end notes, if you look at it, you will see the difference. My edition actually does not commit this mistake, and so there you will see the original wording. Now here you see that what Rumi says is listen to the reed, how it tells a tale, whereas the correct reading is this: listen to this reed rather than to the reed. I mean, he actually refers to himself. There has been a lot of commentaries about who is the reed, and that was because of the incorrect readings of the book. But you see that he said that to this reed, everything, I mean, all those disputations disappear. Now you know, see who is the reed. Actually, Rumi saw himself as a reed. I mean, in the lips of God, of course, and he was breathing into him and giving him his spirit, as I'm going to mention later. So listen to this reed. It tells a tale. Now listen to this reed, complaining of separation. And it is telling you the tale of separation. So that is the virtually the original. بشنو این نی چون شکایت میکند. Anyway, I mean, whichever of the readings you take, whichever of the versions you take, the word complain is there, very prominent. So Rumi is complaining from the separation. He doesn't know, of course, separations, he says in Persian. Separations, all kinds of separations that he suffered from. He as a reed, he found himself as a reed. Somebody is breathing in it, blowing in it, and the sound and the voice is coming out from the reed, and that tells you the tales of separation, the complaints of the separation. Separation is, of course, one of the main themes of Rumi, and you know, and I told you the story of his separation. The separation was so sudden, so abrupt, and so intense that his whole life was immersed in, so to speak, complaining from separation. But one word has to be added to this, because without that, I mean, the story will be defective, will be, I would say, virtually untold. he never complained from anything. So this, ostensible reading or version of the poem should not mislead you. One should not be misled with the word complain. He never complained from anything. The version that I mentioned, listen to this read, which is complain on the screen. That is actually in an interrogative mood. It is not in a descriptive mood, assertive mood. It doesn't say that it is complaining. It says, listen, do you think that it is complaining? That is the real meaning. Not only complain was not the business of Rumi. He never busied himself in complaining anything, including suppression. He never thanked anything. He was not grateful to anything either. And that also he mentions very clearly, very explicitly, that the mystics, the saints, the contemplatives, the people who are quite close to God, they neither complain nor thank. Now, this is a very strange position one who takes, especially when you compare him with other mystics, with other poets. You see, when you go to Hafiz, for example, you know him, another very, very great poet in Persian literature. So when he says that I am at the same time both thanking my beloved and complaining him. So that is what he says. So he has got both. But Rumi tells us in some other verses in his Masnavi that he has neither this nor that. This stems from a position that a mystic takes, assumes in front of God. Complaining and thanking always belong to the bounties that you receive. If you receive a bounty, a mercy from your God, from your beloved, then you are grateful. You offer your thanks to him, thanksgiving, as we say. Now, if you do not receive what you expect from him, then you complain, okay? But all these two things, complaining and thanking, they belong to the stage of the bounty, receiving it or not receiving it. But somebody who doesn't look at all at the bounty, always is, dazed at the bounty giver, at the God, at the beloved. He never thanks and never complains from anything. You understand what I mean? So it's one step further. It is much deeper, much higher. So you thank the Lord because of his bounties. Maybe you complain him if you are not a very correct slave of him. You may complain him because he doesn't give you, expect. He doesn't fulfill your expectation. But always beyond the state and the state of bounties. But what about somebody who doesn't look at the bounties at all? He doesn't expect to see whatsoever from the merciful. He is only looking at the merciful, at the Lord himself, and does not come down from him. So there is no place for thanking or complaining. Therefore, when you see, for example, the word complain in Rumi, you have to be absolutely careful about what he means about it. So there are verses in Masnavi where he says very, very clearly that yes, apparently, ostensibly, I am complaining, but I am not complaining. I am a storyteller. I am just describing the state of affairs. من ز جان شکایت می کنم، من نیم شاکی، روایت می کنم. Is it possible that I could complain from the soul of the soul? That is absolutely impossible. I am a storyteller. I am just describing the state of affairs. من نیم شاکی، روایت می. Therefore, when you see here that, of course, Nicholson translated, and he must translate it as a complaint, but it is not a real complaint. It is not a real complaint. It is just, so to speak, a kind of using the words that